Hello everybody, this is Henry and my first recognized training level. So we are doing test A, we're at Majestic Oaks, and Henry, aka Heron's Waltz, is a 15-year-old thoroughbred. So he gets a little bit against the bridle there. This was a very cold, windy morning, so Henry was not in the best of spirits for this test, but he held it together as best he could. So you can see we're a little bit crooked. He's definitely a little bit tense. That was a half 10-meter circle, and it wasn't too bad. Correct bend, and here you can see his haunches come in. And that was actually a pretty quiet canter transition, even though we got a little bit against the bridle. And now we're going into a lengthened canter. And again, not amazing, not the worst. There was a little bit of a difference. It's a little hard for me to bring him back there. And now we canter to X and trot at X. And we get a little bit behind the vertical. Probably could have used my seat a little bit more there. And now we're going to go into our stretchy trot. And the bend is a bit incorrect for this. But I was mostly pleased that I was able to let out the rein and get a little bit of stretch without any theatrics, even though it was not an amazing stretchy circle. And now we're going to go into our walk work. And that wasn't too bad of a downward. I think my stirrups were a little short for this test, putting me in a little bit of a chair seat. So the walk is historically Henry's weakest gait. It is hard for me to get him forward without breaking gait. So this free walk wasn't amazing. Not a whole lot of stretch out and down, but you know, he's walking, so we'll take that as a win. And now we go into our working walk, which is all the way from H to K. And he's fine. You can see his mouth is a little bit fussy. We're just trying to keep the walk. The frame's not too bad, though. Just a little bit of the fussy mouth. And that was not too bad of an upward. And again, he gets a little bit fussy here. The test is kind of mirror-like, so it'll look like the other half of the test. So obviously that was not an amazing half 10. He was against the bridle, not super pleased. And again, just fussy. He's not super happy. It was cold. It was rainy the night before. And comes back together for the second half of the circle. And again, just comes against my hand as I go to bring him back from the lengthened canter steps. And now we're going to do our last little bit of this test, and you can see he's getting fussier and fussier. And then we canter. So this is supposed to be a lengthened trot. We did not accomplish that. So he's upset. I'm just trying to be quiet and just trying to get him to give me any trot steps. So, no lengthened trot. And now I give him a pat. I'm like, you're okay. We're almost done. So, blew that movement. The judge very generously gave me a 3. I would have given it a 0. And now we come up to our final halt. Overshot the center line just a little bit. And then he actually comes into a decent halt. So not the test we were hoping for, but so it goes on cold, windy mornings. Sometimes we scored a 38. And now we'll head into the show jump. And chipped in a little bit on that first one. Didn't quite have the canter that I needed coming around. And we cross canter to the second fence, which he actually jumps very lovely. And now we're going to come around to the third fence. And he puts a good effort over that. And jumps lovely over fence 4. And now we're coming to the first combination on course, which is the one stride. And let me tell you, I just missed here. So he tried to keep that first rail up and he couldn't quite manage it. It was amazing over the second one. And then we got it back together through the bending line. And now we're coming, this was an option. You could choose the Liverpool or the waves. I chose the Liverpool. And he jumps the 2-stride super. And now just one fence left, which he puts a great effort in. He was super duper for that show jump, just the one rail to add to our score. And now we are going cross country. So he was super duper for this cross country. Sometimes I struggle with not necessarily slowing him down, but changing the balance of our gallops so that he's a little bit more uphill. He jumped the first jump great, was good over the second. And now Ellen and Elisa managed to get some really good video. Majestic, there's kind of like a hill on top of the course, so you can actually see a whole lot of it, which is really fun. Not as amazing as the schooling shows where you can have a chaser cart, but still really good video. So we're coming to the third jump, which is a tricaner, and Henry does not care or look at tricaners, so he was fabulous over that. And now jump 4 is a ramp in the woods. And again, no problems there. And now we are approaching our first combination on course, which is an up bank to right-handed turn to a chevron looking thing. And he is fabulous over that. And now we're coming to the next jump on course, which is a white open oxer. And training level is the first time that you typically see an open oxer on the course. And I did not see an amazing spot to that, so we chipped in, and he still puts a good jump over it. They do make me a touch nervous. Not quite sure why, but we'll work on it. And now the next jump is just a table. He got a little strong to it, but we still got a decent shot over it. And now we're coming up to the coffin question. And again, Henry doesn't really look at ditches, so I typically have no worries about coffins. We went a little bit left, a little bit more so than I thought. So I was off my line just a little bit. But he still did the in and the out just fine. And I don't know if my stirrups were uneven. I feel like I'm galloping a little bit crooked. And now this is a brush roll right hand turn to another pink chevron. A very similar one was the second element of our bank combination. And now we're headed to a Weldon's wall or a Ditchin wall. And again, we drifted a little bit left here, but I think he was maybe headed back towards the trailers a little bit. So he jumped that pretty good. And now we're headed to the Shark's Tooth, and I just missed that. He was a good boy to get his legs out of the way. And you can hear Elisa in the background telling me to go faster. I think Henry looks a lot slower than he is. He's got a pretty good stride. He hits up the ground. I ended up coming about 15 seconds under the time, so we were right on it. And now we are headed to the water. So I don't know if you can see it, but the into the water was just a skinnier roll type jump. The water wasn't flagged, but it's the fastest way to the next jump. So just canter through the water, out over that chevron, jumped that super. And now we're to the Palisades, and that's no problem for him either. So we're almost done. We have 4 jumps left, 1 more combination, and then just 2 single fences. Looking back at this video, I have no idea why I went so far out this way. It looks like I could have turned in way sooner. So this is just the last combination of on course, a 4-stride, just 2 little offset tiger traps. A pretty good introduction to questions you'll see at higher levels, like the 2 in the back right there, the little offset houses. And now just over the second to last. And 1 jump left.
Coming to the last fence is Megan Malloy and Heron's Waltz.
And the last jump is pretty friendly. and Henry hits it at a great stride. So all in all, a pretty good show. Just one reel to add.